The Liebherr T282B is a very large mining truck, and when it's fully loaded it weighs around 600 tonnes. Even when empty it weighs around 240 tonnes. It comes in suitably large Liebherr branded packaging, which is a sleeve that encloses 2 expanded polystyrene trays. And it's a heavy box, so make sure you've eaten plenty of spinach before you try to lift it. You can tell this is a big heavy model because it's factory sealed, but not with sellotape. Instead there are big heavy duty ties that you need to cut. After a few swishes of a sharp blade you can lift the lid and the model sits nicely inside. And now it's time for some more muscle building, trying to lift the model out at arm's length. It probably weighs around 6 kilos or 12 pounds, so it's heavy. But there's no assembly to do on the model because it arrives complete out of the box. Underneath, the construction of the model is suitably heavy duty. The big tyres have a deep tread and the radiator, engine and alternator are all visible. The wheels are in fact plastic, but they are reasonably detailed. And the big tyres are certainly impressive. They're rubber, they're not solid, but they are very chunky. Looking at the front, the majority of the stairs and handrails are metal and of a realistic thickness. The big radiator is plastic and the red fire extinguisher adds some detail. Some of the smaller details catch the eye, such as this ladder up into the engine compartment. Up on the cab deck, the walking surface is anti-slip, and the metal equipment cabinets have got good detailing within the casting. The cab is reasonably simple, with twin seats inside and an air conditioner and light on the roof. Behind the cab, the engine and big fat exhaust pipes are visible, and there are large metal tanks on either side, which again are quite nicely detailed. The twin plastic exhausts run inside the chassis structure and out towards the back, where they can be seen poking out, although they don't have deep holes. There are painted lights on the massive rear axle. The underside of the dump body is very impressive because the structure is fully modelled, and there are large rubber flaps. There are small lights at the rear, and it looks like there are lifting eyes detailed within the top edge of the casting, although they're not usable. Looking on the inside of the dump body, it is completely smooth. One area where the detail is a bit lacking is on the mirrors, which are not silvered, but that can be fixed by adding some tin foil, although you may notice that that particular piece is a bit too large. Now, we don't like gluing models on cranes, etc. What don't we like? We don't like gluing models. However, for demonstration purposes, we'll add a bit of paper glue onto the mirror and then stick a more carefully formed piece of tin foil. This is a very easy and quick bit of customising, and it does make the model look better. Well, I think so anyway. This is a Cranes Etc. safety advisory. When using a mobile phone, always have the emergency number handy. The T282B is a big truck, but rather than just keep saying it, here it is compared to a normal road tipper. So let's now have a closer look underneath the model, and each of the rear wheels spins independently. And there's a full range of steering movement at the front, and it's all linked together and controlled by 2 hydraulic rams. Another nice aspect of the model is that there are large rubber flaps and they're nice and flexible and move. And Conrad's model engineering is always good, and there's no exception here because the rear axle's got an excellent range of rear suspension, both side to side and up and down. And there's also working suspension at the front, although it's very much stiffer. But if we take a closer look, you can see that the AA frame linkages have been modelled and there's a working cylinder. And the overall modelling of the suspension is very good because with the heavy weight of the model and the stiff springs, it all works really well. The heavy weight also enables it to roll along really nicely, and it's actually tempting to stand inside it and use it as a giant roller skate. The steering works well too. It's got a good range of movement, so when you set it, it goes along in a nice curve. As for the tipping mechanism, it's very good. There are 2 double-stage hydraulic rams and they're very stiff, so you can pose the body at any angle you like, and it reaches a very good angle. Another nice aspect is that there are drop-down rock deflectors which go between the wheels to stop the tyres getting jammed up with rocks caught between them. And to finish up with, let's run a tipping test. So here comes the mining truck and it's chock full of rocks. Okay driver, let the action begin. Just imagine how good it would be to have a big model mining truck like this delivering chunks of chocolate into your lap as you watch football on TV. This is a very impressive big model from Conrad. It's been around for quite a few years, so it's not the most detailed, but it's a huge chunk of metal that looks tough like the real truck. The features on it work really well, it looks great with other mining models, and it's good enough to be highly recommended.